Alrighty, everybody here is for ethics. This is a realtor class, so it's the realtors that wrote it. I am here to deliver it to you. If you're just joining me for the very first time, I am Catherine Kirchner. I used to be Catherine Buchholz. I like to think of it as a lateral move. Wait, I think I have slides for this today. Yes, this is me. I was a teacher. I spent 10 years teaching. I taught for 3 years in the 8th grade in the DC public school system. And then I thought, what can I do that doesn't involve 12-year-olds, but still allows me to tell people what to do? I know I'll be a realtor. And that was a great career path until I was lured to the dark side by the North Carolina Real Estate Commission. I went and worked for them for about 2 years. Anybody in here take the 12-hour broker in charge class online yet? Once I finished writing it, I'd basically written myself out of my favorite part of the job, which was being in the classroom. That and the fact that I just didn't fit in made me decide to go out and become an instructor forever and ever all the time. Now, if you're like, Catherine, you didn't fit in the Real Estate Commission, I didn't fit in at the Real Estate Commission. This may surprise you until you see a picture of me working at the Real Estate Commission, and then you're going to be like, oh, she doesn't fit in. Are you ready? Can you pick me out of the picture of the people in the commission? Here we go. Did you find me?
The yellow bird.
That's right. I was Big Bird among the baddies, y'all. I like to think my personality has personality. So I just didn't fit in at the time that I was there. I will say they've gained some personality since then. I can't fault them for that. Our course objectives here for this exciting Code of Ethics, Our Promise of Professionalism class is to identify the key aspirational concepts found in the preamble to the National Association of the Realtors Code of Ethics. We're going to describe general business ethics and broadly, and when I say broadly, I mean broadly, compare them to the Realtor Code of Ethics. We are going to describe the concepts established in Articles 1, 2, 12, and 17 of the Code. We are going to identify possible violations of the Code of Ethics specifically related to the articles cited above and describe the professional standards process for enforcing the Code of Ethics, including our duty to arbitrate. We're going to identify critical elements of due process as they relate to code enforcement and identify factors considered by hearing panels in procuring cause disputes. It's time to talk quickly about the history of our Code of Ethics. Prior to 1900, everybody, the real estate business had a history of speculation, exploitation, and disorder. This was before state regulatory agencies and consumer advocacy were established. It was a time when real estate practitioners, if we were licensed at all, were licensed as peddlers, and an era of caveat emptor, in which robber barons said, let the public be damned. So in other words, it was a regular day for sellers here in North Carolina. That all changed when the National Association of Realtors was formed in 1908 and the Code of Ethics was established and adopted in 1913. The purpose of our Code of Ethics is to establish a professional standard of conduct for real estate practitioners. The Realtor Code of Ethics is based on the concepts of service to the public and a commitment to professionalism. These central concepts of public protection are the foundations upon which the Articles of the Code stand. The National Association of Realtors was one of the first business groups to adopt a code of ethics outside of the professions of medicine, engineering, and law. Right up there with it, Realtor ethics. The first code includes duties to clients and duties to other brokers. Later, when real estate license laws were established, many of these laws were based on the standards set in the Realtor Code of Ethics. Similarly, the use of arbitration in monetary disputes between realtors was a pioneering effort. While alternative dispute resolution systems, such as arbitration and mediation, are used in civil law systems more frequently today, the requirements that realtors arbitrate monetary disputes between fellow realtors has been in effect since the inception of the code nearly 90 years ago. Furthermore, the first code also provided for respect for other brokers' exclusive relationship with clients and cooperation among members. When it comes to the business ethics and the NAR Code of Ethics, we are going to find that our business ethics are often made up of industry codes, such as our Realtor Code of Ethics, and they also include company policies and individual moral values. So business ethics are going to include our ethics in the Realtor organization, but they're also going to include the policies in your particular company and whatever moral compass guides you. So if you're not seeing it, and for some of us, there's like, wait a minute, we're supposed to have one of those? I knew that. So if you're lacking that, you've got company policy and industry codes to guide you. While legal standards generally set minimum standards of conduct, ethical standards usually encompass principles higher than legal standards, which is why I say before you go check with Law and Rule, check with your realtor organization's code of ethics, because it will go beyond what the law requires. Regardless of our business specialties, whether we're appraisers or residential or commercial brokers or property managers, all realtors are bound by the Code of Ethics. You've got the preamble there in front of you. Feel free to join me as we talk about how this preamble is the code's aspirational foundation. While the concepts of the preamble cannot serve as the basis for disciplinary action against realtors, they are timeless principles upon which the professionalism of our industry is based. In fact, every realtor makes a personal commitment to uphold our code of ethics, which defines the high standards of ethical conduct for our industry. The code defines professionalism and is based on the overall concept of service to the public, embodying the values of honesty, integrity, fair dealing, and competency. It also protects practitioners who, if we follow the code, will minimize our legal liabilities. So take a moment with me and just listen, or read along if you so feel. This is what we aspire to as Realtor members. Under all is the land. Upon its wise utilization and widely allocated ownership depend the survival and growth of free institutions and of our civilization. Realtors should recognize that the interests of the nation and its citizens require the highest and best use of the land and the widest distribution of land ownership. They require the creation of adequate housing, the building of functioning cities, the development of productive industries and farms, and the preservation of a healthful environment. Such interests impose great obligations upon those beyond those of ordinary commerce. They impose grave social responsibilities and a patriotic duty to which realtors should dedicate themselves and for which they should be diligent in preparing themselves. Realtors, therefore, are zealous to maintain and improve the standards of our calling and share with our fellow realtors a common responsibility for its integrity and its honor. In recognition and appreciation of our obligation to clients, customers, and the public, and to each other, realtors continuously strive to become and remain informed on the issues affecting real estate, and as knowledgeable professionals, we willingly share the fruit of our experience and study with others. We identify and take steps through enforcement of this code of ethics and by assisting appropriate regulatory bodies to eliminate practices which may damage the public or which might discredit or bring dishonor on our real estate profession. Realtors having direct personal knowledge of conduct that may violate the code of ethics involving misappropriation of client or customer funds or property, willful discrimination, or fraud resulting in substantial economic harm are expected to bring such matters to the attention of the appropriate board or association of realtors. Realizing that cooperation with other real estate professionals promotes the best interests of those who utilize our services, realtors urge exclusive representation of clients. We do not attempt to gain any unfair advantage over our competitors, and we refrain from making unsolicited comments about other practitioners. In instances where our opinion is sought or where realtors believe that comment is necessary, our opinion is offered in an objective, professional manner, uninfluenced by personal motivation or potential advantage or gain. That's the "if you can't say something nice, don't say anything" quote. The term realtor has come to connote competency, fairness, and highest integrity, resulting from adherence to a lofty ideal of moral conduct in business relations. No inducement of profit and no instruction from clients ever can justify departure from this ideal. In the interpretation of this obligation, realtors can take no safer guide than that which has been handed down through the centuries, embodied in what we refer to as the Golden Rule, which is treat others as you should like to be treated. Or you can say it with all the ye's, but I get tripped up on all the ye's, so. Accepting the standard as our own, realtors pledge to observe its spirit in all of our activities, whether we conduct them personally through associates or others, or via technological means, and to conduct our business in accordance with the tenets set forth below. Under all is the land, a powerful phrase to begin and set the stage for everything that follows, clearly conveying the immense and all-encompassing nature of real estate and our calling. Is it more important to sell real estate than it is to sell a car? Yeah, that is 100% the attitude that the preamble is trying to get across. It's not like selling anything else. When we do this, it's our patriotic duty, because what we are selling is pieces of our own nation. So what we're doing when we're selling real estate is trying, according to the preamble, to get it into the most number of hands possible. Why is it so important to get it into the most number of hands possible? It says it right there in the preamble. To preserve the survival and growth of our free institutions and our civilization. The notion that the interests of our nation and our people require the widest distribution of land ownership is one of the foundations upon which our country was established. Remember, we come from England as a nation, and when we left them, we brought some of their laws and rules with us, and we diligently denied others, one of which was royalty, because of that concentration of land ownership in the hands of a few. When just a few people own vast tracts of land, they have immense power. And if you don't believe me, ask all the franchise owners at McDonald's. Just saying. There are several concepts in there that discuss our integrity. These are aspirational concepts to maintain and improve the standards of our calling. There you go. Striving to become and remain informed on issues affecting real estate, and identifying and taking steps to eliminate practices which could damage the public or might discredit or bring dishonor to our profession. We are there to share with our fellow realtors a common responsibility for the integrity of our business, and to speak, and all of these things, speak to our common obligations to look for the wider implications of our practice every day. So when I do something, I don't just think, how will it benefit my client? How will it benefit my company? How will it benefit me? I need to think, how will it benefit my client? How will it benefit my company? How will it benefit my realtor organization as a whole? And how will it benefit me? And then finally, if none of that works, we fall back to that basic golden rule, which is Treat others as I would like to be treated. Treat others as you would like to be treated. But more importantly, treat others as they would like to be treated. Now, all this talk about the preamble is fascinating and it's important to remember, but it's also important to remember that the preamble cannot be the basis of a complaint for a code violation. It's a great aspirational thing to go back and read occasionally, to stop and remember what we feel and agree to. But when it's time to go and write a complaint to the realtor organization that another realtor has violated the code, you cannot cite the preamble. You must cite one of the 17 articles. Let's talk for a moment about the structure of the code and how it is amended, because this is particularly important to us right now. It's important for members to be able to navigate the Code of Ethics and to understand its format. This section moves from the code's broadest concepts to its most specific. The first part deals with the three major categories. The code is categorized into 3 sections: duties to clients and customers, duties to the public, and duties to realtor. Anybody else in here, a 12-year-old boy in your head, and every time I say the word duties, you laugh a little bit? That's just me. Every time I'm like, duties. There are 17 articles of the code. These are broad statements of the ethical principles. Only violations of the articles and not the standards of practice themselves may lead to disciplinary actions. The standards of practice that follow each article of the code support, interpret, and amplify the articles. A realtor may not be found in violation of a standard of practice. A standard of practice may only be cited in a disciplinary proceeding to support actions related to the article.